Alex's corner, of course, his son Cruz got a win in the boys' singles yesterday as well.
Ready?
The American then
Play.
to get the last of the round of 16s underway.
(15-11).
He's a big hitter, Michelsen. And he's got a lot of confidence, a lot of ingrained confidence and belief. He's up against a speed demon, though.
15.
Yeah, not too many cover the court as well as this guy, that's for sure. Out of the corners, there are a few better. Adolfo Gutierrez back left, Matt Reed in the white shirt there. Of course, Matt helps out as well. Former player himself.
15-13. Let's for serve.
Michelsen was anticipating the ball going long, wasn't he?
15-14.
Switched off.
Michelsen would like to see the review of the right baseline.
Michelsen, who beat Karen Hachanov in the previous round. Fine win that. Proved himself to be a good major player. There's Hachanov, there's Robbie Ginepri on the right there.
Yeah, good to have Robbie back in Australia. Oh, loose game.
First game.
De Minaur didn't do a lot there, did he, to break serve? That was a bit of a gift, that opening game from Alex Michelsen. A few nerves, probably. Pretty intimidating coming into a stadium like this. He's a 20-year-old kid, and this is going to be a full house, and it will be vocal for the local.
Yeah, I just praised how confident and sort of relaxed he looked as he walked onto the court, but definitely a nervy game there for Michelsen. Feet maybe not quite moving, and the double fault he hit was a big one. It must have been 2-3 meters beyond the service line. So a tough start for him, and a completely different start to De Minaur from the one we saw in his previous round. So a real positive for the home hope.
Alex de Minaur to serve.
This is the only major where de Minaur has not made the quarterfinals. Looking to break that duck tonight.
You know, I think these conditions, it's a bit of a dilemma for me with Alex de Minaur, because he's a reasonably flat hitter of the ball, and I think these conditions suit him better against most players, because he can hit hard, hit out, and he doesn't miss much.
Yep.
The ball flew a bit on him the other day, but he chose that service because he thought in that matchup he thought that was better for him. Or he certainly requested it. You can't demand it, but he requested it. He wanted to play in the day. But I think the dilemma he faces is that
30
against
love.
the really big hitters in these conditions, it possibly puts him at a slight disadvantage. But he won't miss much tonight, you wouldn't think. If he's in any sort of form, the ball stays in more in evening conditions.
I think it's a great point you make, Fitzy, and just to add to it, it's the
40
the
love.
distance the ball travels through the air, the speed through the air, but also the height it bounces off the court. It's not jumping up the same way it would at sort of 2-3 p.m. in the afternoon on a hot day. So it's going to be very hard for Michelsen to get the ball out of the hitting zone from de Minaur. And what we're seeing already, he's holding the baseline, playing his game. He's looking good here.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. So people at home are saying, hold on a minute, Alex requests to play when? How does that work? How does he get to play when he wants to play? How do you answer that one?
No, I clarified it. I said he requested it.
Yeah.
But you can't demand it.
No.
No. You can't demand it. And the tournament director and the ATP and the WTA, they'll make the decision. So, but you can request it. They all do. Yeah. And, you know, he's played at night, so he was probably due to play in the day too.
Yeah. Alcaraz, of course, is asked to play during the day a fair bit, isn't he? Top guys have a little bit more sway, I think it's fair to say, isn't it?
Well, I think it is fair to say, and they do. You know, and sometimes if they're a draw card, they might get their way a bit more. They have a few more convincing qualities, maybe.
Absolutely.
But the tournament ultimately reserves the right, don't they?
Yes.
They can put them where they want.
Totally. Very nicely done from the American.
He's got some skill. He'll be disappointed he started so poorly because it's put him behind the 8 ball, but this is the type of stuff he can do.
And not a bad play, is it, to go back behind de Minaur, because he moves so well when he is going from one side to the other.
Case in point. Yep. How did you know that was going to happen?
Sometimes you get lucky.
40-15.
He moved pretty well side to side, didn't he?
He did. I did ask Cole the other day whether he thought who he thought was faster out of Leighton Hewitt and Alex de Minaur. I might ask you the same question.
We were in agreement by the end, weren't we, Fitzy?
I think so.
Yeah.
But don't tell our co-host. We want an honest answer from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I mean, my instinct is to go with de Minaur. That's my instinct.
Yeah. I think that's 3-zip now. I tell you what Leighton had, though. He had unbelievable anticipation. He was halfway to the ball before it had been hit by the opposition.
Which actually is something we don't talk about that often when it comes to movement, isn't it? Because we just think, oh, he's just great, he's fast.
Yeah.
But actually there is that element to it as well.
Oh, sure is. This is another loose game, isn't it? From the youngster.
Not getting much change out of his serve so far.
Let's for serve.
Very apparent how low the ball is over the net in this match. In fact, the only ground shot with any kind of shape on it is the Michelsen forehand. So we talked about the conditions, the height of the bounce. I think this is suiting de Minaur down to a T here so far this evening.
Yep. He will miss less tonight than he did the other day.
Looking for something different. De Minaur has charged to a 3-zip lead here. Now the de Minaur serve obviously has come a long way, Fitzy, and this particular graphic will illustrate that nicely. This was last year, as we're focusing on the accuracy. 62%, around the low 60s in that middle zone, but look at this year, the changes we've seen.
Well, it looks like he's more accurate, doesn't it? Looks like he's getting the ball more towards the lines on either side. He does fall back on the body serve a little bit, so maybe some of that graphic from last year is referred to that, but it does look like he's serving more accurately to me. And he's serving a little bit bigger too, I think, Nick.
Yes. Definitely.
Time.
Best possible start for the Australian #1 under the lights here. Serving with a double break.
Well, I'm getting to the stage where I'm going to say it's actually been a really poor start by Alex Michelsen. He hasn't settled, has he?
Not at all.
Let's not judge a 20-year-old too harshly yet.
And that's what you're dealing with, isn't it? Because that's the quality of the defense from de Minaur, how he gets the ball back deep there. Michelsen, maybe against some other players, might have got that a bit shorter.
Yeah.
But suddenly he's having to hit a volley on the baseline.
Yeah, and that might be related to the trajectory he uses too. You know, hitting the ball flat probably goes deeper. So there's that body serve that was possibly part of the graphic we all just saw.
Yep.
Well, I would have, well, I was very confident that he'd make that volley. That's an unusual miss. He's got that in his arsenal as well. He's caught that off centre.
First played the Australian Open 9 years ago now, did this man. As a 16, 17-year-old. Lost in qualifying the very first time. First played the main draw a year later.
30 all. Fuji 30.
I love that part of his game.
Yeah, here are the spin rates.
Yeah.
Colin was talking about how flat de Minaur hits, and that is evidence of that. Look at the forehand. I mean, that's the unusual side, isn't it? For it to be that low.
Yeah. The lower the number, the flatter it is.
De Minaur leads by
Jannik
4 games
on
to
the
love
left.
for sets.
It's a big deal for Alex de Minaur with the opportunity to make a quarter-final here. It's a big deal. And his camp there looking pretty happy initially.
It was a tough loss here last year to Rublev, wasn't it? In the last 16, that was one that stung.
I have to say, Michelsen, yeah, it's been a nervy
15.
start. You know, it's quite apparent when you look at him. The sort of intensity isn't quite there yet. But Alex de Minaur looks so sharp. You know, he's really dialed in. He's all over the returns. Michelsen's serve not really hurting him. This is it's looking like a good night at the moment for de Minaur.
$59.
Only the second time the ball's not come back in play
30-15.
off the serve.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have to use the wide serves. He's going to have to be accurate because it's not a huge serve. There's not enough pace, and especially in these conditions where it's not jumping up. If it's in the slot, I think Alex de Minaur makes the return certainly more often than not. Perfect example there where it's okay, it's 195 kilometers an hour, but it's not really hitting the spot, is it? And de Minaur's actually getting his weight through that return. He's jumping all over it.
$30-14.
Well, he is playing statistically the best returner in the game. Nobody breaks more than de Minaur over the last couple of seasons. And he's having, so far, difficulties. Do you think this value fits in changing the pace off the serve to de Minaur, giving him different looks because he's so effective as a returner?
I always think it's good to have the variety. It's just a different ball. So yeah, so the answer to that's yes. Doesn't mean you're going to get a free point, but you can occasionally serve and volley on that off speed. But he is a great returner, full stop. So you need to serve well, you need to serve close to the lines and use variety as well.
Let's for serve.
This is turning into a bit of a rout early on here. There's a serious golfing class in set number 1. 5-love it is. So, seems to make a habit of that.
Well, I think Alex actually, that's a split-second decision, but the off forehand there probably would have won him the point, I think. It was a good fake and stay by Alex Michelsen. Could see this going to the backhand side, him winning the point, but Michelsen stayed there and ended up being able to hit his best shot.
I don't mind his mindset here, Michelsen, actually. After he won that first point, he just, under his breath, you know, just sort of geeing himself up. A couple of come-ons. I think, obviously, this first set pretty much gone, but I think he's going to use this game to try and maybe just open his shoulders a little bit, find his ball striking. You would think he's going to be more competitive from the start of the second set.
Let's for serve.
Yeah, he'll want to be, won't he, Cole? If he's not, he's in trouble. It's all just a bit easy.
Yeah, it is. And he's a big guy, isn't he? He's a tall guy, taller 2 players. But he's actually more... He's more of a Medvedev-style baseliner for me than the sort of classic American baseliner looking to dominate with the forehand. He doesn't mind long points, but I think he needs to come out. He needs to come out the comfort zone. He did that a little bit there. More ball speed. Has to be the way tonight.
30. Oh.
Yeah, he's got a backhand of note, isn't he, that we haven't really seen so far. Mum actually pretty much taught him the game up to his mid-teens in the courts of California.
$30-14.
Able to make a little bit more of an impact off the ground here, and he's got a chance to get himself up and running on the scoreboard.
Juice.
the area that's low tonight is his first serve percentage. He's only made 5 of 17 first serves, de Minaur.
Well, it's been a slow start. We can see that. We know it from Michelsen, but it surprises me a bit. I've seen him play awfully well, and we need to give him time to settle down. I think we haven't been able to see his best tennis, and he still looks a bit restricted in his movement, and that's usually an indication of a few nerves. So let's hope he loosens up.
Merciless so far this evening. Alex de Minaur dishes out a bagel, not even half an hour on the clock. The Australian #1's in charge.
Second.
Don't think they'll have me, Fitzy.
They would have you. Yes, they would. They don't mind Scotsmen either. That ain't going to work. And can I state the obvious, Cole?
Please do.
I think this is a pretty important game for Alex Michelsen.
My goodness. And I'm just sitting here thinking about their meeting at Roland Garros last year, which was a real beatdown for Alex Michelsen. So make that 4 Grand Slam sets in a row that he's been swept aside by de Minaur.
Yeah, that's a desperate move too, that drop shot, because he's one of the quickest guys on tour. He got that at the top of the apex. That wasn't close to beating him.
He's just struggling to hit through de Minaur in these lower bouncing, cooler conditions. In a tough place here, Michelsen must feel like he's playing a brick wall.
Yeah, relinquished just 3 games in that match that Colin's referring to. Remarkable stuff from Alex de Minaur.
Well, Henderson Michelsen, he tried something different, got into trouble with that high backhand volley, and then he was always in trouble with the speed. But he has to try some different things. But what's important is what Cole mentioned. He doesn't have the ability at the moment to hit the ball through de Minaur. You'd be disappointed with that too, de Minaur.
What was the call, guys, from de Minaur? My legs are back. I think the off-season has been so important for him. He is fully fit and healthy now, and goodness me, he's moving well. I can't tell you how much better he's moving than Michelsen in this matchup.
Feels like he's impenetrable right now, doesn't it? At times. And that's where, for me as well, at the majors, when you've got more space behind the baseline, it helps the defenders, doesn't it? It's tougher for the attackers on a big court like this.
Yep. You make a good point, Nick. Again, that this is a big court and it's harder to put the ball away,
14.
especially if you're a 20-year-old without the experience of the man down the other end. A difficult situation he's in, but let's not forget how young this young man is. This is a good player, Alex Michelsen. Give him a couple of years. He nearly made it.
30-14.
I think some of the crowd thought he did.
In a clever approach, not giving de Minaur the running pass for a change.
Game, de Minaur.
Doesn't know where to go, does he?
New balls place.
And the Katie Bolter's smiling.
First game, second set.
Yeah, that slice didn't look good. It was a bit desperate.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cole. I think Alex just forgot that it was only one love, and there's no sit down here.
Yeah, he's a rabbit in the headlights now. He ran out of ideas. Nail on the head there with that slice. Didn't know what to do. New ball's coming in here, so if I'm going to throw any positivity for the young American here, that should help him quicken things up. But he needs to, I tell you what, he needs to get a game on the board soon, or things will start to move very quickly for him.
Mate, we've all been there, haven't we? Oh. We know what this feeling feels like. It is a shocker.
But he has no feeling that de Minaur is going to give him a point, and he can't win a point. So it's a horrible place to be right now.
Yeah, de Minaur's made by our numbers just 7 unforced errors in 34 minutes.
Well, he uses the body serve well. That's a good one. And his serve is invariably deep in the box, which causes this sort of a problem if it's at the body. He just looks sluggish on his feet, doesn't he? Not in position.
And I think we're also seeing something that Colin mentioned. At the moment, he's not the best athlete, I don't think, is he, Michelsen? It's not being unfair, but he's not defensively. You can see there he's not anywhere near the finished product.
No, he's fair call, because you can see it in his legs. He doesn't have the miles in his legs yet, as a de Minaur does. Now, that's normal for a 20-year-old. There are some 20-year-olds out there that have it, but he doesn't yet. And you can tell by the definition there. But I tell you, I'll still be betting on him in a few years. And hey, tonight's not over. He might turn this on its head. We don't know that at the moment, but in a few years, this lad's going to be a very, very good player, in my opinion. But at the moment, he looks a bit sluggish against one of the best movers out there.
Game, de Minaur. De Minaur leads by 2 games to love, second set.
Oh, even that's going wrong.
I think that just about sums it up, doesn't it?
Perfectly.
So far.
Yeah, perfectly.
This is a, come on, he's got a hold here. Come on, Alex Michelsen. He's got new balls. Time for a game.
15
Did
love.
actually commit, didn't he, to go to college, Alex Michelsen. Was going to go to the University of Georgia, but decided against that a couple of months prior to going, a couple of years ago. Thought just fancied his chances in the professional ranks, and that decision's paid off big time.
Keep in mind, he's a 20-year-old and he's won 3 matches at the Australian
15
Open. He beat Tsitsipas first round.
Yep.
You don't get into the round of 16 without having something a little special.
Thirty 15. All.
Gee, it's dangerous here too, isn't it? Each game that he doesn't win, it gets sort of cumulatively worse.
It's incredible quality from de Minaur. You know, that return is on the shoelaces, and you can feel the intensity coming from the Australian. He is dialed in. This is, you know, this is his dreams on the line here, this Australian Open. He's ready for it, and he is not going to let anything get in his way, certainly tonight.
Yeah, and he's got a chance here. It's early days still, but he's got a chance to get out of this in a very fresh state of mind and body. Gee, that's like gold right now if you're Alex Michelsen.
Juice.
Among the many changes that this guy adopted, of course, was getting a little more beef, a little more muscle in him over the last couple of seasons. Fitzy mentioned the increase on the miles an hour on the serve. Obviously, that's been a factor. Trying to tweak the motion a little bit. It's an area when you look back 4 or 5 years ago, people said, oh, he's too lightweight. He's too lightweight to be top 10, Alex de Minaur. But it changed, didn't it?
Advantage, Michelsen.
Well, he was always a bit of a featherweight, wasn't he, against heavyweights, but he's been able to, I think, decrease that difference.
Yep.
He's hitting the ball harder, and he's just as fast, if not faster, than he ever was. Here's a chance now for Michelsen.
Finally.
Michelsen.
Good on him.
It's taken 41 minutes, but the American has opened his account here. 2-1, second set. And now he begins. I guess that's what he's telling him. Now's the start of the match.
Yeah. Oh, good on him, I say. We all know what that feeling's like, and it's pretty lonely out there on a big stadium like this.
Time.
Rod Laver Arena full to capacity yet again. Another record set today for crowd attendance for the day session. For a second Monday.
Fifteen 11.
Yeah, January the 20th.
30 11.
A date the Fitzgeralds will never forget. Congratulations to your family, Fitzy.
Thanks, Nicky. Yeah.
Coming a grandfather for the second time today?
Second time. Yeah, it's a big deal when your daughter gives birth to a little son.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well done, Lizzie. I didn't know you were going to say that then, by the way. Now you've made me all emotional. Nick.
That's the idea.
40 11.
Little Walt.
Very cool.
He's about 8 hours old right now.
Okay, fantastic.
Gee, he doesn't like that body serve, does he?
Nope.
Jannik de Minaur.
Tying him up, isn't it?
De Minaur leads by 3
Well,
games to
that's
1 second
movement,
set.
isn't it? Being able to read the ball and move the feet and get into a position that you can make a good return. Get out of the way of this ball. He's not picking that up early enough and he's not moving quickly enough.
De Minaur,
of course, started the season at the United Cup. Got a couple of wins, but frustratingly for him, couldn't help Australia get out of the group.
It was a tough end to the year, wasn't it, for Alex de Minaur? Of course, he sort of ran his body to the limit to try and qualify for the two running finals in Turin, and just the fact that he turned up in Davis Cup. I mean, Fitzy, you'll speak to this, but he really embodies that Australian Davis Cup spirit, doesn't he? You know, he turns up and he gives it all for his country as well. But as I say now, I think he's moved past that injury that was bothering him last year. Certainly very apparent courtside. He looks sharper than ever.
This court must feel so small right now to Alex Michelsen because he just cannot find a route through. For love nor money.
15-13.
Well, he didn't play a bad point here, really, did he? He didn't do a lot wrong. He tried a few different things, which he's doing. But de Minaur's like a brick wall at the moment.
You start to try and take on more risk, don't you? And you're tired as well. You can see the physical toll from the previous point.
Well, you need to take on more risk to get it past someone who's this quick.
He lost his last 6 matches, in fact, of the year, did Alex de Minaur, against some very strong opposition, it should be said. Did qualify, as we said, for Turin. Fantastic achievement.
I don't think there's any point in him just trying to outsteady de Minaur, because Alex de Minaur's too good for that, and he will then come in on his terms. He'll start to play the point on his terms. So I think Michelsen has to go for more, and that is fraught with a bit of risk, but right now that's what it looks like he should do. There you go. Solid volley from the youngster.
Juice.
And again, the fact it's back behind de Minaur is a factor, isn't it? Just a little tougher, quite a stable. Can try and get in a bit more here, maybe.
Advantage, Michelsen.
Well done.
Yeah, he talks consistently about how competitive he is. Hates to lose whatever he's doing. And he's trying to hang tough here in the second, down a break. Very good friends with Lona Cain, as we referenced. They spent a lot of time together over the years. Spent much of their off-season together, of course, training in Southern California. They're based in Carson. That's where the USTA have a center that a lot of their players go to.
Time.
Already got 5 Americans in the quarterfinals. Of course, 2 on the men's side, 3 on the women's side. It's the most since the 2003 Australian Open quarterfinals. Of course, could have one more hit tonight. Looking unlikely right now.
He only needs one good game here.
Love it.
And he'll feel like he's got his teeth back into this match a little bit. That's a waste.
15 all. Let's for serve.
Well, I think it's fair to say that, and not unusual for a player like the size of Alex Michelsen. He's tall lad. His defensive skills as a youngster won't be probably not as good as his attacking skills. So that was a poor effort, really.
And it's interesting, Fitzy, isn't it? Because we're in an era now, of course, he's got a guy on the other side of the net who's
some skill right there, pal. Good stuff from the youngster.
It's a fabulous point. He feels the ball so nicely. He really does. He's got a great skill set, and I like some of these moves he's making. He's fighting hard here. He's trying to get forwards. He's trying to make things happen. I think he has to, because any time, you know, you guys have touched on it, any time de Minaur gets him on the move, he's in trouble. So more of that, more coming forward, more of attacking when he can.
6 of 10 at the net now. Here's the American.
Yeah, getting a bit of confidence rolling now. So there's no doubt he's got some X factor.
30-40.
The matches I've seen him play, apart from Tsitsipas, are against players that are not of this level. And you get to see his full array of shot-making skills. And there is quite an array of them. This is the first time we've seen it tonight.
Let's for serve.
A magnificent pass.
Well, it looked to me like Alex Michelsen there was leaning to the left. He thought that passing shot was logically going across court. That was the safer option. I've got a feeling his body weight was, and he just couldn't get back. de Minaur squeezes it. Yeah, he was looking for it a little bit, wasn't he? It was just too good.
No angle to work with there, was there, Fitzy? Nice finish.
advantage, de Minaur.
Opened up the opportunity for himself when he was walking and thought he was going to make this.
Well, maybe the speed of de Minaur made him just subconsciously go for a little more there.
Yeah.
Because he could have hit a winner easily if it was a foot inside the line.
De Minaur.
But he knew how important that was, de Minaur, because a break of serve against him there might have given Michelsen some more hope,
Leads by 4 games.
some more confidence.
Yeah, and not only that, Michelsen is looking more confident. He seems to have found a bit of clarity on what he's trying to do out here. You know, he's getting in, approaching to the backhand a little bit. He's hitting the ball with more speed. So where he looked lost before, he's now sort of finding his way here. So that was a big hole for de Minaur just to try and keep him down.
He's certainly not without some self-belief and self-confidence, is he, the 20-year-old?
15.
He's already made 3 ATP Tour finals. One of those on home soil last year. In fact, 2 of those on home soil, Winston-Salem and Newport.
Love.
Did that nicely as well. You just use the pace just to steer it back deep.
Jannik Michelsen.
That might be his most comprehensive hold of this match. We're bang on the hour mark here at Rod Laver Arena as he stays in touch in set 2. The Wimbledon area. Of course, Alex a Monte Carlo resident, so has to spend a lot of time down in Monaco, but he's got a London base.
That's happening too often, isn't it? I think the body serve's just a free point at the moment.
I have to say, I like Michelsen's sort of vibe out on the court. After that body serve, he almost turned to de Minaur's team, to Leighton Hewitt and the box, and pointed to his body and had a laugh and almost a nod and said, "Yep, you got me there." Yeah, so he's starting to enjoy his time. It's good to see.
There it is. And that's the signature shot. Been on the back burner largely. Been able to employ it.
He's beyond his years in a lot of ways, isn't he? Starting to pump his fist now. He was down 6-love, 2-love, and just looked all at sea, and now he believes, which is his tendency.
Didn't feel sorry for himself, did he?
No.
Not had too many experiences like this in his career so far, his fledgling career.
40-13.
Able to turn him around. Michelsen's off balance again.
Yeah, in his young career, if you can make him move and change direction, he's a little bit vulnerable, isn't he, against a player of this speed?
I just think that actually watching him up close and personal will maybe define his sort of his ceiling in the game. That, you know, how good an athlete he can become, the movement, and maybe for me also how much pop he can add to the serve. I think it's a good serve, but he's got the height. He could turn it into a very, very good serve. There's no doubt the ground stroke game, goodness me, forehand, backhand, the way he strikes the ball, it's the elite level, absolutely, when he's on it and on balance.
And it's interesting because everybody moves so well nowadays, it sort of stands out a little bit when someone doesn't move quite as well, isn't it? It's not like he's a bad mover, but everyone is so exceptional largely in the men's game now, athletically, that he's just a little off. You sort of see it.
Mm-hmm. If you're Alex Michelsen, you would be forgiven to think you're at least going to get another shot after hitting the backhand he hit. He hit an exceptional backhand. That one there into the corner. You think you're going to get your racket on the next ball, but not this time.
Seven Australians have made the quarters of all four majors. And Rafter, Emerson, Laver, Newcomb, Roach, Rosewarne, Hewitt. De Minaur looking to join that crew tonight. Very good indeed. Took a bit of pace out of the serve as well. So was able to get in a bit tighter because of it.
40-13.
Not much difference really in the net points won. There's a percentage.
Let's for serve.
He's hanging on in there. There's the Californian. But he needs a break to avoid going down 2 sets to love. Fitzy's talked about the serve of de Minaur being challenging, and this is that body serve and how valuable it's been.
Well, I think so, and yeah, he's lost a few there to the first court, which surprised me because he's had a lot of free points with that serve.
What's so difficult about it? Why is he struggling because off that serve?
I'm not sure, because that's a second serve placement, so that ball is coming slower than the first. So I'm sure if you included the first serves in that, the win-loss ratio would be considerably higher, because he has got a lot of free points where Michelsen has not got the ball back into play. I just think it's either, well, it could be both, not reading it well enough and then also not moving quickly enough to give yourself some space, some room to hit the ball.
Carrying home hopes here, but at the moment dealing with the expectations that come with that very nicely indeed. Alex de Minaur looking to move ahead by 2 sets to love.
Love.
Not a bad return, but the forehand was devastating. First time he's overplayed off that ball. Fitzy says perhaps just feeling that the space is a bit more squeezed tonight.
Well, confirmation of this game for Alex de Minaur makes it a long way back, doesn't it? A couple of pretty important points right here for him. Yeah, he went again to the body, but this time Michelsen fends it off that right hip.
Maybe just taking a slight step back as well, possibly, to buy himself a bit more time.
Yeah, I think you're right, Nick. I think he's just eased off, you know, even half a step, just to give himself a bit of time to just get out of the way of that body serve.
This will be a big momentum shift.
30-14.
Yeah, 2 forehands in a row that have failed to hit the spot. Would you believe it? The American's been given a lifeline.
5 games over.
Yeah, that can change the whole dynamic. Funny old scoring system, isn't it? It feels like when he has, de Minaur's dominated the match, really. In the last few games, Michelsen, though, has been starting to find his feet.
Yeah, too true. He's a little bit frustrated, understandable. In the first 8 games, but this could have been a rout.
New balls into play here as well for Michelsen. Maybe that just made it that little bit tougher for de Minaur the previous game, but in truth I just felt like he tried to force it, whereas before he looked very sort of within himself, very calm.
Now he's getting the outside edge of the line.
30.
How things change.
The direction just left Michelsen a little flat-footed.
Can you imagine if he wins this set, Michelsen? How that will boost his confidence? Because he'll be thinking, I haven't played anywhere near my best yet, and I'm a set all.
40-13.
It's very nearly 9-0 down, wasn't he? Only half an hour ago.
Yeah.
And he's hung on in there, waited, built some momentum. Chance to get himself in front in this set. And he really has lifted it. And he's bringing some energy as well here. And suddenly they're smiling in that corner. First time he's in front in the set, 6-5. Time for those first volleys as well. This has been a very impressive comeback. Did beat de Minaur, as I mentioned, in Los Cabos. Almost exactly a year ago. Alex was coming in off the back of this Australian Open, though. I think he was coming off the back of a European indoor event as well. It was it being a quick time change, and that didn't work out very well for him, so probably can do a little asterisk by that one.
Time.
Fast approaching 10 p.m. in Melbourne. Jannik Sinner, Ben Shelton and Lorenzo Sonego, the winners on the men's side of the draw today. Sonego into a first ever quarter-final at a major. Good story. He's asked him some questions, isn't he? He's coming at him, Fitzy.
No doubt. Pretty tough volley there too. He's got some skill, hasn't he? And this is probably the wrong choice. He's a tall man. You need to get that lob right. You'd like that one back, I think, Alex de Minaur.
Needed that, really needed that serve and the reaction. I think the lob on the first point, just a questionable shot selection. It's the first time there's been a bit of uncertainty and almost a bit of panic. You know, he must have felt like he was on his way to the quarters, a set 2-love, nearly 3-love. This has changed so quickly out here, even just the atmosphere on Rod Laver Arena, completely different now.
Yeah, it's not like he's had problems holding serve, but you know, you look at the first serve percentages for de Minaur, they're still very low by his standards. 38% first serve percentage this set. It's not really impacted him because he's defended the second well, but
yeah, but it'd still give him some free points, wouldn't it, Nick? I think it's important that you mention it because it's helping him in this game, and he has needed it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Trying to get himself up here.
40-15.
Well, the crowd trying to G him up. In this country, we had a fast bowler in the cricket called Glenn McGrath, and the chant for him at the MCG and other grounds was "Ooh-ah, Glenn McGrath."
6 games over.
Then it went on to "Ooh-ah, Paddy R" for Pat Rafter, and now they're saying "Ooh-ah, de Minaur."
Nice.
So that's the first time I've heard that. So they're trying to get him up here and back on track.
So a tiebreak it is. Michelson's 4-1 in breakers already this season. He's off to a good start.
Michelsen.
Well, he certainly that was a weaker shot, that last one, but he's certainly competitive from the back of the court. Now, it seems more like a 50-50 proposition, doesn't it? From back there.
I think now that he's more relaxed, even though this is a tense moment. He's far more relaxed than he was in the first set, and the ball speed just feels like it's up. He's not having to work as hard to generate or to hurt de Minaur. It's great for this contest that he showed up like this second set.
And the rallies are becoming more and more extended as well.
He's a different player now.
2-1 Michelsen.
Now we're seeing more of his potential.
And his two-handed backhand is an incredible shot, Michelsen. It's like a glove. The racket's like an extension of his hands. He feels the ball. Of course, he's naturally left-handed, isn't he? And you really see that the way he produces the shot. He gets that left hand through the ball.
Thank you.
You would have bet a lot on that, him making that. That was an easy volley. It looked like he slapped at it. He let his technique get away from him.
2-all.
Too much of a backswing there. He laid it back and didn't have the face open enough to get it over the net.
They're happy though.
Big miss.
Bit of a let-off for de Minaur.
Too good, heavy ground strikes, forehand and backhand there. There's Cain, who's
3-2
in charge of the USTA development program.
Yeah, he was out watching Lerner Tien earlier on.
Nice man. Good player. Before your time, Nick, I think.
Yeah. Busy man these days. There's so many Americans everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Good young crop, obviously. Maybe 10 in the top 100 next week.
Okay, well, he's got to be ready for that body serve
3-all.
during this break here, because these points mean a lot. And de Minaur likely to use that serve where he's had so much success with. A two-set swing at stake here.
Sure if he was trying to find that angle or whether it was a slight miss hit.
I wondered. We've got our man on the ground down there. He would have known.
I think he was trying to find it. Well, he was trying to really work the racket around the outside of the ball. But I think you're also correct. He slightly mishit it. Maybe caught it a little high in the face. It just dragged it wide. A couple of missed opportunities the last 2 points for Michelsen, that point and the missed return. Chance here for de Minaur, these two now.
Keeps his eyes on the drive volley. Focused on making a good contact, did well.
He's got a pretty mature attitude, hasn't he, this youngster?
Let's for serve.
Yeah, this is only his second ever Australian Open. Only his 6th major.
For Michelsen.
Would you believe it?
Well, there's a little apology here from de Minaur. I don't want to take too much away from him, but he mishit the backhand to drop it short, and he actually slightly mishit that pass as well, and it just died on such an acute angle. You might see here the apology. You see it's right off the top of the racket there. That was a slice of luck there for the Aussie, but you need that at times.
It's only his 3rd ace of the match. First serve's not been firing tonight. Does there though.
Thank you.
Alex de Minaur does secure set number 2. Rouses the crowd. He knows he's looking very good now for a place in the last 8 here in Melbourne. Narrow escape that, Fitzy.
Well, he'll be relieved. And it's the one that got away from Alex Michelsen. It looked to me like Michelsen was going to...
1 set away from the quarters.
Well, he's really carrying the hopes of the Australian tennis public here and the Australian general public as a competitor here.
Guys, just a couple of reflections there. Genuine goosebumps when he won that set, and the reaction and the crowd. That was a real moment there. And yes, the first serve percentage is low, but how about that serve at 5-all? 215 kilometers an hour from Alex de Minaur. I mean, talk about the hard work paying off. It might be the biggest serve of his career, just about.
Bit of adrenaline, I'm sure, too, at that moment. Each point more of a battle now, though.
15 all. 30-15.
Busy couple of weeks for Leighton Hewitt. Of course, he'll be off to Sweden as well rapidly after this event, because the Aussies play Sweden away in Davis Cup. Longest possible trip, pretty much, they could have got in that draw.
Playing a seniors match tomorrow morning, Leighton Hewitt. He's everywhere. He's like,
oh my goodness.
He's like Chicken Man. He's everywhere.
Not enough hours in the day, are there?
We had a cartoon character here years ago on radio called Chicken Man, and his catch cry was, he's everywhere, he's everywhere. He's playing with Pat Rafter.
Maybe they should set up a father and son combo next year. Be involved in that. Sweet return.
40-30.
Unable to make a mark in the game, but again just beaten by the depth, really.
First game, third set.
Looking at those longer rallies, there've been a lot of those. If those rallies over 9 shots, very even. de Minaur has won 14 and Michelsen 13, so it's supposed to prove that those elongated exchanges have been pretty tight.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the game, but try to be quiet during the rally. Thank you.
Yeah, there was a loud lady's voice there in the middle of that rally at one stage, and it was quite off-putting. I think that's what Alex was referring to there after the point.
Yeah, she obviously likes a slice backhand, because it was a slice that really got her going. She should have watched you play, Fitzy.
Yeah, I don't know whether that would have got her going.
15-11.
What's it like being an Aussie playing this event, Fitzy? A few years ago, I know now, but what's...
Oh, look, you know, we're so proud of it, Nick, this event. It's you want to try and do well in your home slam if your country's lucky enough to have one.
Did you feel a bit more pressure back then, or was it the opposite? Did you feel like you were a nation behind you? What was the feeling?
It was a funny thing, because it was on grass at Kooyong when I started playing, and halfway through my career it moved here onto a surface called Rebound Ace, and it was completely different, and I actually didn't like it much. So it was hard making that transition, but the event is now what's so important and how it's developed and grown, and I would never have believed in my lifetime it could go from what it was to what it is now. Truly a global event, and as an Australian, we're proud of it.
30-10.
Yeah, as you should be.
Still got a soft spot for Wimbledon, Nick. A big soft spot.
I know you have. That's okay. You keep it right there, okay?
I'll invite you back one day.
Do I have to beg? That's my...
You just got to hop on a flight. Come on.
Well, I like the fact that Michelsen's trying to mix it up. He's got some strings to his bow, doesn't he? I mean, he misses this volley, but I'm excited by his future, very much so. He's going to be a ball player. Gee, you don't see that too often. Speaking of Wimbledon, that was a Wimbledon champion right there.
Certainly was. Can hardly believe what I've just seen. How did Michelsen get the ball back here?
Yeah, it was way behind him, wasn't it?
One game over. Once again, can I ask, I believe it's the same person, to stop screaming during the rally. Thank you.
Might be some inebriation involved, I would suggest, maybe. But that was a spectacular get from someone who has some X factor.
Real intensity from de Minaur. I actually wondered if there might be a slight dip from the Demon after he won that tiebreak, but no, he's a man on a mission. And I really like the intensity he's bringing early in the third here.
Cole, we've got a feeling, we're not sure, but we've got a feeling that the perpetrator has been escorted out. Gee, they don't waste any time here.
Let's
Gotta be on your best behaviour.
Lucky we're in a soundproof booth here.
You'd have been out a long time ago, Fitzy. Oh, there it is again.
40-11.
Not making as many as you'd like, but...
And not quite the adrenaline on that one that there was at 5-all in the tiebreaker in the second. But a beauty nonetheless.
40-10.
Alex de Minaur holds on again.
Minaur leads 5-2 games to 1.
As he looks to cement his spot in the quarterfinals.
Well, including moi. Great Rod Laver. Kenny Rosewall.
You had some of the all-time greats around that time, didn't you?
They were good. Roy Emerson. Have you ever heard Roy speak?
A few times.
Oh, he's hilarious. I love his humour. Very entertaining.
Muscles.
Yep, muscles.
Of course, nicknamed for his lack of them.
15-0.
The great Neil Fraser recently passed away, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I had the honour of doing that eulogy. We miss him. Thea's been here. His wife has been here this week. You know, he won the US Championships before it was the US Open.
Mm-hmm.
He won the singles, doubles and mixed.
Didn't know that.
1959.
Wow.
And the next year, he repeated the feat.
Incredible.
Incredible. He used to call it the triple double with a little wry smile.
Michelsen.
Wow. Davis Cup captain for many years, wasn't he, Fitzy?
24 years, yeah, unprecedented in this country. Good game there from Michelsen. He's not going anywhere.
He's a real competitor, isn't he, the 20-year-old? And he will fight until the lights go out here.
Yeah. He's got real spunk. Great to see.
Let's for serve.
Cut from a similar cloth to Lerner Tien. We talked similarly about him, haven't we? Just how tough he is.
Left.
Good tournament for the young generation. Of course, we had 3 teenagers beat 3 top tenors. This guy's only 20. He beat Tsitsipas as well. So that's 4 of those very young guys being top 15 opposition.
Yeah.
It's good for the sport.
Well, it is, you know, and as much as I admire and loved watching the big 3 in the men's game for so long, plus Andy, you know, that very few others get a chance to win a major. Oh, he broke a string. He hit that so hard.
30-15.
But it's good to see new names, Nick.
It is, yeah. Fonseca, of course, we're referencing Mensik and Tien, the 3 teens. First time since 1990 that's happened.
Gee, I like Mensik too. He's a serious ball player. This lad's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I think there's an argument to say that, you know, of that group
40-10.
behind Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, who haven't won majors, the next wave is coming. They're going to have maybe a limited time.
Showed a little bit too much of that to the Aussie #1.
De Minaur leads by 3 games to 2.
3-2 in the third. If you had to invest in one Colin Fleming of the 4 of that stock, who would you invest in?
Very clear in my mind, to be honest, and a little bit story of what could have been this fortnight, but I would go for Fonseca. After that win over Rublev, if he had just found a way to get past Sonego, obviously a 5-set loss in round 2, I mean, who knows what could have been for him, maybe just coming a year too early, but I think he's destined for the very top.
You, Fitzy?
Well, I haven't seen enough of Fonseca, but I know just with what I've seen and what you hear, there is a special X factor about that youngster, and it's a bit unfair when we start talking about too much as young players, isn't it? But hey, that's our job. I think the X factor with him, but I do love Mensik's game.
It's been 10 years since an Australian man made the quarters here at Melbourne Park. Nick Kyrgios the last. De Minaur not too far away now.
Love 15.
And it can happen quickly. It may not, but it can. So be aware, Alex Michelsen. Gee, that must have caught the line, Cole.
Yeah, right on the baseline. I think de Minaur's just guilty of half switching off there, thinking it was going long. I think you're right, Fitzy. I think Michelsen needs to keep the knot really tight here. You know, there can't be any dip in the focus. I'm a little concerned from his point of view that there may be. We saw him really wailing on a couple of forehands the previous game. I think he's just got to keep it dialed in with his focus here. Played the perfect point, but you know, that's a good example. You dip 1 or 2%, and suddenly you're just liable to maybe miss a ball like that, and all of a sudden here's real pressure.
The intuition of a Scotsman. He somehow knew that was coming, Nick.
Gets pretty dark in the winter up there, Fitzy. There's not a lot to do, you know.
Just study matches.
He knows tennis, I'll give him that. Wow. From Colt Fleming's point of view, I'm so impressed that he saw it coming so quickly, but I'm disappointed for Alex Michelsen here. If he does lose focus, it can be over very quickly. I mean, he's playing a full-on professional down the other end. He'll jump all over this if he can.
No chase offered from Michelsen, didn't pick it up by the look of it.
And I think that is a loss of focus, Nick.
De Minaur leads by 4.
Why wouldn't he have chased that? Maybe he thought it was a winning serve.
I just wonder if he slightly mishit the serve. It was only 155 kilometers an hour, but yeah, he was completely flat-footed, wasn't he? And that might be
all she wrote.
Yeah, the decisive point.
First break of the third. Yeah, big couple of nights, isn't it? Of course, we've got Alcaraz and Djokovic tomorrow. We could have Sinner and De Minaur as well lined up in the quarters.
That'll be Wednesday night.
Would have thought so, wouldn't you?
His record's not good against Jannik Sinner.
Remind us, Fitzy.
I believe it's 0-9. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Double check that for you. It is 9-0.
Well, come on. Nobody beats Alex de Minaur 10 times in a row, do they? Or do they?
We might find out in 48 hours.
30 on.
We better not talk too soon.
No. Time, but just didn't have the control.
Juice.
Stunner.
That had some serious draw on it, didn't it? It went from right to left at a rate of knots. That forehand. Pretty good play here. Good pickup as a volley. But this really curves in.
Yeah, he talked about Glenn McGrath earlier on. I think he'd have been happy with that, wouldn't he? Delivering one of those?
It would have taken a wicket for sure. But at that angle, you couldn't quite see it as much as it actually turned. Heck of a shot.
Good pressure. Just half followed the return. He's asking for more love here. And he receives it. De Minaur, the Aussie #1, again away from progressing.
Time.
An entertaining evening. Looked as though it might be a bit of a blowout for a while. Michelsen saw to that.
Thank you.
Serving here to stay alive, though.
Fifteen 11.
Yeah, plucked
15.
Out of the sky, as it should be in this part of the world.
I keep telling the English visitors we've got, mate, it's just normal here.
Thirty for 10.
He's shown us more than enough in the last hour or so, hasn't he, that this is a game and someone to keep an eye on. It's already going to be pretty close to the top 30 in the world after this week.
De Minaur leads by 5 games to 3.
Now the moment of truth for the number 8 seed here.
Please. Love.
He's attacked more and more as this match has gone on. Michelsen. Once again, the Australian's movement, a thorn in his side.
For 10.
So for the second set, didn't play a great game, and it's just tricky, isn't it? Serving for a place in the quarters here for the first time, one of the biggest games of his career, and the crowd just get that little bit looser, there's a bit more commotion. He just got to really keep his focus here, Alex de Minaur, and try and play with some real conviction.
Talking of conviction, goodness me.
He's got some dangerous weapons, doesn't he?
30-14.
Just didn't expect his initial return to come back with as much purchase on it. To be caught by surprise. On the cusp of breaking new ground here at Melbourne Park.
Advantage de Minaur.
Alex de Minaur with a match point. He's an Australian Open quarter-finalist for the very first time. He completes the set of last 8 showings at the majors. Emotional scenes for the family. But the Aussie #1 is flying high. He sets up